Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to welcome you to this distinguished session organized by the Sustainability and Climate Innovation Community under the leadership of the Global Innovation Institute and the Global Innovation Summit. Well, innovation today is firmly positioned at the center of the global agenda. It's embedded in the Sustainable Development Goals, reinforced through COP commitments, and increasingly framed as a driver of climate finance, resilience, and economic growth. Yet a critical challenge remains. While innovation activity continues to expand, its translation into effective technology transfer, scalable enterprises, and sustained foreign direct investment remains inconsistent. The issue isn't a lack of ideas or technologies, but a lack of strategic alignment. In many climate-relevant sectors, technological maturity is no longer the primary constraint. Clean energy systems, climate data platforms, adaptation tools, and digital infrastructure already exist. What limits impact is the ability of systems to absorb and deploy these technologies at scale. When innovation is developed in isolation from national priorities, regulatory frameworks, and institutional capacity, technology transfer stalls. Solutions remain in pilots, and ambition fails to materialize into delivery. Alignment changes this dynamic. Innovation anchored to SDG priorities, nationally determined contributions, and resilience strategies gains policy legitimacy, operational continuity, and investment relevance. Startups play a decisive role in this process. They aren't simply outputs of innovation ecosystems. They are the mechanisms through which technology is localized, tested, and scaled. They translate global technologies into market-ready applications and create the first investable assets. However, many ecosystems emphasize early-stage activity without enabling scale. Regulatory uncertainty, fragmented markets, and weak integration with public systems prevent startups from maturing into credible investment opportunities. Innovation generates momentum, but without scale readiness, it doesn't generate durability. This has direct implications for climate finance and foreign direct investment. From an investor perspective, capital is constrained less by availability than by uncertainty. Innovation becomes catalytic when it reduces these uncertainties, when it strengthens system performers, aligns with regulatory frameworks, and clarifies pathways to scale. At that point, climate ambition translates into investable structure, and foreign direct investment follows ecosystems that demonstrate coherence rather than experimentation. Innovation fulfills its role when it bridges global technology and local systems, supports startups as scale vehicles, and aligns climate ambition with financial logic. That's it for now. I would like to say welcome everyone. I don't know if Dr. Allama is here or not yet.
I'm here.
You're
Thank,
most welcome. Co-leader, Dr. Allama.
thank you, Dr. Amna. Thank you for your introduction and your keynote speech. Thanks to all of you for making time to being here with us. Uh, today, today webinar uh, will be about innovation. How can we use innovation as catalyst for technology transfer, startups, and foreign direct investments? As ever, uh, today webinar will be multi-sectorial with multiple high and well-educated profile. Thank you, Dr. Emna, for starting before me. I will let our speakers to introduce themselves. Let's start by Dr. Nupur Kohli, if you are here.
Hello, yes, I am. Yes. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Dr. Amna and Dr. Lama. Nice to make acquaintance here. Thank you for this invitation. And yes, so introduction for me, I'm an assistant professor in biomedical engineering and biotechnology at Khalifa University. I came to Khalifa University 4 years ago from the UK, previously worked at Imperial College London, and have delved quite deeply into the subject matter today that we're discussing on sustainability and innovation as well. So having had a patent and taking it through the route of commercialization as well as a startup now, I completely understand, what we're going to discuss here today. So my expertise are in stem cells and regenerative medicine, and I'm hoping today I can, tell you a little bit more about how we think about sustainability in this sector, and how we actually try and make it more integrated into the healthcare system.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur. Mr. Hany, floor is yours. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, Dr. Allama. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for the opportunity of being here. And thank you, Dr. Amna. Welcome, Ms. Nupur. By the way, I had an experience with Khalifa University, so I'll share it later. My name is Hany Mansour. My background is tech. I came from the digital space. Over almost 20 years over global consulting firms as well as Microsoft and E&, in Abu Dhabi. And I recently moved to Saudi because I do since 2017 venture builder business. So we build startups also in technology and innovation. And we scale those startups from zero to hero. So I got the mixture of digital experience and digital transformation, and I map this truly with the business. So for now, I'm a chief digital officer. We manage all the digital and the business stack for businesses, as well as a venture builder. So we used to do this even with the universities. We have done an opportunity with Qatar University. We used to do MIS workshops. We used to map students from educational materials and science to the real industry and the ground business transformation. And we used to invite thought leaders like yours into the ground and map the commercial side as well as with the academic side. I'm still a PhD student in global crisis and risk management. I'm still studying as well. So I feel the student vibes. My background is tech, 50%, business, 50%. That's in summary. And thank you one more time for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Hany. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
For accepting our invitation uh, to share this webinar with us, and especially to share with us your knowledge. This is the one of the biggest gifts you can give to someone, is to share your knowledge, your skills, and your experiences. We are more than happy to host you today on the stage of Global Innovation Summit and Global Innovation Institute. Thank you so much. Today, we know we are in a world of accelerating climate risk, health emergencies, financial volatility, and economic transformation. Innovation is becoming like a strategic pillar for multi-dimensional resilience. Today webinar will explore how innovation-driven technology transfer, entrepreneurship, and investment can be structured as integrated tools to support national development priorities and global commitments. We know that all international organizations have today a strong focus on innovation, climate change, and health, especially the One Health approach. Technology transfer can facilitate today the fusion of climate smart, health secure, and resource efficient solutions. We meet someone today, Mr. Ernesto, but we hope that he can join us for the next webinar, inshallah. We will start our discussion. Let's start by Doctora Nupur.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. Coming to you. Doctora Nupur, how can stem cell and regenerative medicine innovation be scaled sustainably while to strengthen long-term health system resilience? Floor is yours.
Thank you. So I'll try and be as simple here as possible and really break it down into very simple terms. I think when we talk about like sustainability or scaling therapies and regenerative medicine, we need to move away from like one-off therapies and, trial and error kind of approach towards more platform approaches that health systems can actually absorb. So let's talk about sustainability, for example. So what does sustainability really look like, or what does it really mean in regenerative medicine? I often use this phrase for my students. Actually, I always tell them Occam's razor, which means simplest solution is often the best one, So really think about simplifying your approach, simplifying therapies. We see these, publications in very high impact journals that talk about all the different kinds of, proteins, different types of scaffolds they've used to actually create something to regenerate tissues. But when it comes to translating that to clinics or to really taking it to the end user, you're actually hit by many obstacles because the number of things that you've added to actually make that biomaterial would actually be a hindrance for it, to actually go to the patients in the end. So if you keep it simple, simplify your approach to regeneration, to wound healing, for example, there is a better chance for it to get to the end user. Okay. So sustainability comes from simplification, especially when we talk about regenerative medicine in terms of cell-based therapies, right? So a lot of the times you hear the word, a stem cell therapy can cure diseases, and stem cells are often treated like magic bullets. But they are actually really good. They do help in healing. But why is it that they are not standardized into products? Like if you go into the hospital for, any sort of like disease or injury, why aren't they used as a go-to approach? The reason is because we've not been able to track down how to make it, gold standard approach, or how to really make it sustainable. So stem cells came about like 40, 50 years ago. Till now, we don't have a standardized stem cell therapy. CAR T therapy is now leading in terms of cell-based therapy, which is great, which helps immensely for leukemia. What we're trying to do now is to make, especially at Khalifa University, my research group is looking into simplifying stem cell products. So when I say simplifying stem cell products, I mean using basically secretome, which is basically factors that these stem cells secrete. So we are able to take it into the patients, because what tends to happen is when you grow stem cells in the lab, they're really good because they're being controlled, right? So they're being developed in a controlled sort of environment. But when it goes into a patient's body, we don't really know how it's going to react or act, right? Or whether or not it will act. So with mesenchymal stem cells, the cells that I work with or my research group works with, they're often actually found stuck in the lungs. So what tends to happen is we'd inject it into the patient's body and they're not able to cross the pulmonary barrier. So what we are trying to do is the latest paradigm shift in the field of stem cells is that it's not cells themselves, it's the factors that they secrete that helps with healing and regeneration. So my research group, there are 4 PhD students who are taking research in this area, where they're looking at these products that these stem cells secrete. So in terms of like innovation and scaling these therapies, we're really trying to keep it very simple. So when it comes to, for example, developing our project and moving along the TRLs, we are not faced with regulatory barriers that are going to stop its translation. So you have to think about it right from the start. You cannot go towards the end of TRL, develop a prototype, develop a therapy, and then think about regulatory barriers. You have to think about it right from the start. So we need to design for scale thinking from day one. That means early regulatory alignment, reproducible sourcing strategies, and manufacturing pipelines that can expand without reinventing themselves at every phase. So really integrating into the current system. I hope that helps, answer that. And I'd be happy to hear anyone's thoughts on it.
Thank you, Dr. Nupur.
No. Thank you, Dr. Nupur. Very interesting. Thank you so much. We heard about a framework building, policies making, and I will not say there is a misalignment between investment and regulatory, but for sure there is a gap. Maybe it can be because of quality of coordination between all stakeholder, populations, workers, and policies maker. Let's go to Mr. Hany. What governance and regulatory framework are most critical to scaling innovation through foreign direct investment?
Thank you, Dr. Allama. This is a very good topic and very insightful question. Because this I can see it in 2 different angles. This could be an opportunity for business scaling and business growth, and this could be also highly risky, a step that can cause a shutdown of business or a facility. So let me give you in a few points. First, let's look into the FDI as a policy. FDI was generated to bridge the gaps between countries and between industries. Mainly, it was designed to onboard new investors and new industries from abroad to a specific country. Let's say a country A, they're trying to onboard more investments from globe to country A. The policy itself, usually, once the regulation put the frameworks, it has to be adaptable and it has to be crystal clear for foreign investments. Because usually people are afraid to invest outside their safe countries or outside their homes. So if you want to buy a house, or would you mostly you would prefer buying a house in your own country or in a safe country? So people usually are hesitating to put their money in non-safe area. So the first frameworks has to be policy stability. So let's say if you invested in Singapore, a business now, Singapore is well known for the digital business. Now, at least you know the policy for the coming 10 years. So not after 2, 3 years, the policy will be changed and maybe you get some penalties or so. So first is policy stability. This has to be crystal clear and long-term policy created. And then the intellectual property, it has to be also regulated that. The ease of using intellectual property, for now, I think you can open a company license and you can open a fully fledged business in any country in the world now. I think you can digitally build it. And Estonia is one of the very successful use cases that they have done this like 15 years back, and you can build a complete business 100% digitally. You can get even your residency in Europe without leaving your house. Putting these frameworks, it can, as I mentioned, it can be scaling the business. So you can expose other regions. So from Middle East, you can do business in Europe, in US, in UK, and other countries, while you're still transacting the business as you live there, but you don't live there. So onboarding foreign investment to the country or to region could also impact by a local regulation. So the foreign investment need to understand the localization of having a business. Let's get an example. Tax regulations. This could be big variation from an invoice of a project, let's say in $1 million dirham or $1 million. If you're applying a tax of 5%, it's totally different from 15, 20, 40% tax. That could be a big difference. Some of the countries, they have some localization. Majority of countries, they have some localization of putting the data localization in the country. For example, if you're selling a product to a bank or to a government client, 99% they will ask you to keep the data residency in the country. So part of the frameworks that the government put, let's say from central banks, they put the local regulation that we need our data in our own zone. Then you need to change some of the systems, the way it works and the way the architecture has to be developed. It has to be a local residency of the data. There is also a major FDI impact on the PPP, public-private partnerships. Public-private partnerships where you merge the FDI usually bring foreign investment to the local, but PPP merge the government with the private sector. So the investment comes from outside, most probably through the government, and then you map this PPP from government to private. So you end up consuming the investment that came from FDI to the private industry. So you can open a store, you can get fund from those investments into the local businesses. And there is also a cross-border compliance and regulation frameworks. And we have a very good example of GCC. So there is some of the frameworks is not applied only in one country, it's applied in a region or a selected region. For example, GCC is a very good example, or the Euro countries, for example, they have a common agreement that you can ease trade between those countries under single agreement. So this will simplify the frameworks and simplify the cross-border regulation frameworks. This is how we think about it from a helicopter view. When it comes to the execution, of course, every business is different. But for now, I'll speak about my own background in the digital business. That's the easiest, fastest, low risky, as there is no huge assets like, for example, the real estate or other industries. I hope I simplified things out.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Hany. Let's go back to Dr. Nupur. We heard about regenerative medicine. We are promoting regenerative medicine, not only in GCC, around the world, and how we can see, and as you know, the most important is not what you are doing, but how you are doing it, and how can you make sure that your action is equitable and responsible. Then, Dr. Nupur, what ethical and sustainability safeguards are critical to make sure that we can have equitable and responsible technology transfer in regenerative medicine?
Sure. I mean, yes, thank you. Actually, I really liked what Mr. Hani said as well about local sourcing as well as, the PPPs, because I think those sort of models have to be built into the healthcare systems as well. And I think UAE is making all the efforts at the moment in order to really have a pipeline, like a very well-defined pipeline as to how to make a technology get to the end user, right? So ethics and sustainability actually have to build into regenerative medicine, like right from the very start, like I said about the previous discussion as well. Not once you are ready to take it to patients. It has to be thought of right from the start. So the first safeguard, according to me, is ethical sourcing. Like, so where are these, for example, when we talk about cells in regenerative medicine, where are they coming from? Have they been obtained under a robust informed consent? Is there transparency around how biological materials are used? And is there clear benefit sharing? Who's receiving all those benefits, especially when tissues are derived from what would otherwise be medical waste, right? So my research focuses on umbilical cord tissue a lot, which gets thrown away in chunks. And that's like a gold mine of stem cells, which can be harvested and used for regenerative medicine purposes. So we are actively trying to, work together with the DOH, with the policymakers to actually integrate this change in how the medical waste is actually discarded. Can it be checked for eligibility and stored efficiently so they can be used for regenerative medicine purposes? So sourcing is like ethical sourcing is one of the first safeguards we need to think of. And the second is equitable technology transfer. What tends to happen is a lot of the times low and middle income countries would provide, samples, but value creation will happen elsewhere, right? So we need to make sure we make it all happen locally, as Mr. Hani said as well. So I think doing it, scaling must be local, so health system resilience improves and technologies can actually get to the end user. So also, I believe that for responsible transfer, technology transfer, you have to think about shared IP models. One person can't do it all, right? So you need to get the right team on board that can actually help, multidisciplinary team that can actually help take these technologies to the end user as well. And also, we need to think about affordability, right? You can have a therapy that is scientifically very sound, but economically inaccessible. So that would fail the ethical test. It wouldn't actually progress. So we need to think about affordability and also what is possible locally. What are the rules and the regulations of the country that you're in? And can it be scaled in the region that you're trying to establish your business in? So I hope that defines some of the points that I thought of in terms of safeguarding and ethical sourcing.
Perfect. Very interesting. Balance between risk and benefit. It's a big challenge for healthcare, especially for innovative therapies and for most of rare disease. How can we make the new therapies financially accessible for patients and healthcare insurances, and make sure that it can be it can be useful for both, and how pharma companies can also not only make profit on these therapies, but how they can maintain a cash flow to continue innovation of therapies and make sure that they can have a continue production of this kind of therapies. Here, let's go back to Mr. Hany. Both of you talk about public and private partnership. It's a very good point. It's one of the best economic model that can help all systems, especially healthcare system, to share financial risk between all stakeholders. Mr. Hany, still on risk benefit. How can
Yes.
companies reduce risk for innovation investment and at the same time maintain a long-term strategic value? Because long-term have a cost and how they can maintain value for long-term and reduce the risk for innovation, especially in investment field for companies.
Okay. This is a very hard question, by the way, Dr. Allama. Let me start by commenting also on Dr. Nupur. I think we usually deal with any business as a traditional business unless we meet with two types of businesses, healthcare and financial business. We deal with them very strategically projects because the data sensitivity and the regulation and compliance is aggressive. For example, if you guys are aware of PII, personal identification information, this is extremely critical in any business. And this is, I think, the healthcare information is even more critical than the PII information that we deal with. So I would rather deal with a bank. It will be easier for me to deal also with healthcare industry businesses because of the data sensitivity and research and R&D is aggressive also in this industry. Going back to the risk part, I think you answered, Dr. Allama, half of the question by putting the PPP. This is a long-term strategy that's a very well-known over ages and still working very well in the industry. But let me look into the corporates when it comes to other regions or the corporates overall, regardless of establishing local businesses or startups, or even foreign investment coming to a region also. First of all, we usually define the stage of establishment. Is this a startup? Is someone have a passion and they want to do Uber, for example? He likes Uber. I say, you know what? I'm a software developer. Let me build Uber. This could be a type of investment. This guy can go and set up a company, call it Hany Taxi, and publish a mobile application in Android and iOS, and he can establish business. Officially, he can do this. But the question is, can he scale? How many clients can he deal with? Is he sustainable or not? Is he innovative or not? What the value is bringing to the market? There is hundreds of other questions that can do. And the major question that relevant to our discussion today, innovation and investment, cross countries investment, is the stage of funding. When this gentleman needs money to scale, this is a right question. Before putting the cash and scaling the business, the investment firms, the venture capitals and private equity funds, they're very sensitive where to put the money. And guess what? Sometimes they don't care about the business is innovative or not, but they care is this business is sustainable or not, innovative or not. You know how many companies are trying to do food delivery like Talabat and like Delivery Hero, the giant of the delivery applications. There are lots of hundred startups that were trying to do this. Some of them they scaled, most of them they shut down. So the first point is the stage of funding, when this person is eligible for investment. And this investment could be cross-border or foreign investment or local investment. And I'll highlight about the touch between the FDI investment and the local investment. There are in each country there are local VCs, venture builders and venture capitals, where these guys mostly are global. I don't wanna name names, but mostly are global. And those VCs, they are mostly in other countries, but they want to expand in another country, let's say in Dubai or in Riyadh. So these gentlemen, they have the cash, but here is a localization investment question: which company we should invest? So here it comes the PPP model, where the public-private partnership comes to integrate for each country fund, map this to a local commercial fund. So the next question will be the partnerships. Partnerships. Instead of going and creating a new Uber, why I don't partner with an existing local small company that I can do business with for a couple of years, or maybe a couple of months, or maybe do pilot. And if it is successful, I can invest my money, and instead of reinventing the wheel, into an existing small business and scale this business out. And this is a very good strategy, which is the acquisition, or the M&A, merger and acquisition. This could be a very good option. Since we spoke last question about the frameworks and the regulation, there are now, recently, we started to see the sandboxing. Sandboxing, let's say you want to do, let's say in Dubai, currently there is a sandbox is open for real estate fraction ownership. Let's say if we all the six of us want to buy an apartment. Okay, this apartment, who owns it? Whose the title deed name is there? Who put the money more? Who's eligible to manage this company? Who's eligible to live in the apartment? It's a bit complex. So when you think about it, countries made a sandbox where they come and see the challenges and the mapping between the regulation and the ground support, the business, because usually there is a huge gap. So here is the regulators, they are doing regulation, but here is the business, they are here. There is no bridge. So the sandbox came to cross map these business investments, because when someone put cash, they need to study everything. What if, what is, because they're not ready to lose the money. So the sandboxes came as a solution to safeguard both investment and local businesses. And then the talent mapping. If for example, we have a very good example in Middle East, a company called Kita. Kita is a very big competitor for all the food delivery guys. They started with $1 billion. But when they started here, the governance and the frameworks of the localization forced them to start with the local talents. So here it comes the localization of the business. So when you see Kita in China, it's completely different from our Kita in Middle East. You see Kita here is completely different. You see Kita in China is completely different. Here it comes the integration between the talents and the expertise and the industry knowledge, where you get a value of the business, but you also get the local language, the local culture, the local expertise, and also the local regulation to avoid penalties and to avoid shutdown in businesses. Because there are some cases in the global space, huge company, they got hundreds of millions of investment, and finally they are now not exist. So to make sure that your business is safe, we need to take care of all these points when it comes to business integrations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hany. Very good and sensitive point. Interesting one. You know, when you are talking about collaboration between the new startup with the existing company, there is a problem of collaboration mindset. Because people are very afraid from competitors, and most of that I try this kind of matching, but most of them are afraid. For them, this guy or this woman will learn from my business, copy my business, and
But here, you know what, Dr. Allama, let me comment here also. What is the value of my startup? I own 100% of my startup, and this startup is value $100. Or if I'll go 50-50 with you, and this startup value $1 million, we both make money. With all respect, this is nonsense mindset. I personally did it. Like when I started to do business and startups, I think was in 2014, 15. I was not accepting any partnerships. For now, I will never start business without having the right partners. I will never do it.
Exactly. Then it's say we hope that people will have a collaboration mindset in the future that can help us. And also regarding connection between investors and startups. I don't know much about other field, but in healthcare field, I'm always saying in all my speech and panel, we should educate medical students, biotech students, pharma students in business, honestly, in health business, to take health as a business, because in my experiences, like connecting investors to healthcare startup during too many years, 5 years of experience, I finally did like advisor for the startup, just to teach them how to present your project to an investor. It's very good to say, I'm going to save 1,000 lives. This is very good, okay. But how can you keep saving 1,000 lives per year if you are not able to to generate any benefit? It's not only about them, how you will give them back their money. This is first. And the second, you need your cash flow. Save life, this is good, but keep saving life. For that, you need a business mindset. If you have not a business mindset, you will save 1,000 life 1 year, one time, and you will lose all your next patients for the next year, and your business will be dying. This is what happened with too many hospitals. You will hear that we have today X number of hospitals are going they are dying every day. Why? Because owners are 100% medical doctor. They are trying to deal with investors. They have business mindset. They cannot match. They cannot agree. And there is misunderstanding between them. And finally, there is no cash flow, because for the medical doctor, my patient is here. I need to save his life. I don't care about his money. He have money to pay or not. It's not my business. And you touch very good points, but I'm confident. I'm sure I can see how new generation is a changing mindset, because they can see when your professor is coming at the university, you can see his care. It will not motivate you. Then they are starting to have a business mindset. Let's go ahead. Dr. Nupur.
Yes.
We were talking now about collaboration. Let's go on collaboration model for best move regenerative medicine from pilot to sustainable and locally health platforms. Floor is yours.
Thank you. I mean, I've got so much to say about what you just said and what Mr. Hany mentioned earlier as well. I think this is there's a lot of lack of education in this area, because I'll tell you my experience. Like an assistant professor at Khalifa University, I'm so vested in research. I don't really know how to actually bring my ideas to the patients. There's very little that we know about it. Like, how do I actually take it to the end user? I created a startup last year in August, and the idea of the startup was to actually take my therapies that I'm developing in the lab to the patients, and doing it here locally in the UAE. And what Mr. Hani said is so, so true. Like, initially, I was like, no, I don't want any partners. This is my idea. I'm going to do it my way. But honestly, you're just stuck. You don't really know how to do it and how to do it right. So it's about, having the right people on board, having the right collaboration, having the right stakeholders who can actually bring something to the table that'll actually help develop your business. So I think the most effective collaboration models are, built into ecosystem. They're not pipelines. They're actually built in. So you would know exactly what needs to be done when you want to conceptualize your idea, so you actually want to take it to the end user. So if academia, for example, in healthcare system, if academia, like universities like KU, Khalifa University, hospitals, industry, regulators come together and they co-develop a solution, I think that would really help right from the start. As an assistant professor, I can be so vested into my research, I forget the bird's eye view, right? So we're so into it, we're not really thinking like what's actually creating an impact here. So like you, Dr. Allama, I'm always telling my students to think about, how you can make things scalable, sustainable, so it can actually have benefit for the people and benefit for yourself as well. So thinking about circular economy, what is coming back to you as well. So I think collaboration models would work really well if there was an ecosystem, a defined system that actually helps people like me who have no awareness of how to actually, innovate or commercialize. There's so much pressure on assistant professor faculty at university to innovate, to commercialize. But how do we actually do it? What is the roadmap for it? We don't actually know, so we're trying to throw arrows in the dark and just hoping for the best, so if there were clinicians on board right from the start. So back in the UK, some of the most successful projects I've worked with are not just one person doing it all. It's many people coming together and bringing their expertise to the table. So clinicians, engineers, scientists, biologists, physicists working together for one disease and actually creating a change. So this is something I learned back at Imperial College London. I was the only biologist working in a group of mechanical engineers. Although I felt like an alien, I knew what I was needed and what I was bringing to the table. So yes, so collaboration models would work really well when people from different expertise are coming together to co-develop one single solution. And we touched upon public private partnerships, and I think they are essential because they can help de-risk, for example, early infrastructure. Governments can bring it. I have a startup, I need a lab to actually make stem cells in a CGMP lab that can actually get to patients. So if there was like funding coming from the government that can help, for example, building GMP facilities or biobank, and then industry can actually help with operational efficiency and market discipline, so we think about revenue sharing or co-ownership models that can actually benefit and, keep the value locally as well. So I think this is something that I've been, like thinking about a lot and trying to actually bring the right people on board specific to my startup, for example, to actually help, so I'm not stuck in that phase where I'm just like, I have a great idea, but I don't know how to take it to the patients. So I think collaboration models where we have the right people coming on board together can really make a huge impact.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much. You're right. Yeah.
I need to comment, Dr. Allama. To be honest, I can't not commenting in what Dr. Nupur
Okay.
said.
Comment.
If you allow me, please. Just to comment in what you mentioned also of teaching people how they offer or propose their ideas. There is a book, it's called The Art of Pitching. There are people, their full-time job now is to pitch your idea, to pitch your startup. And there is another segment is a unicorn pitching style that you create the company when you pitch an idea of 100K is totally different from a million or a billion. This is one. And what Dr. Nupur mentioned also of having people that they have a great idea, and this is a very common use case is happening in almost all universities globally, that there is a great research results and there is lots of white papers, but the market is also starving for these ideas, but no one has solved this globally, by the way. This is a very common issue. I have a friend that they have an architecture firm, engineering architecture firm. They are in Canada. They have allocated 20% of their revenue, which is millions of dollars, into R&D. They came up with something very interesting and very funny too. They came up with an innovation in each segment of the industry. They have a smart crane that they move things smart without being touched by anyone, and it's all intelligent. But they forgot how to deploy this to the market. They came up with they have around 15 innovation registered, proven, MVP tested innovations, but yet there is zero of them are in the market. In Japan, I mentor with Founders Institute in Japan. They have a cohort especially for students. And there is also another global community called Slush. It's in Finland. This community is dedicated, by the way, we have done it with Zayed University, Dr. Nupur. Slush, we have done it with Zayed University. We used to take these ideas from the students, and we used to have something like GITEX, but only for students and only for research results, where it is applicable to be deployed in the market. This is by the way, this is a new idea. And if we can do this, this could be an idea that there is a gap, that we all see that this is a gap in the market.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally agree. I mean, that's something that I face not only in this part of the world, but also in Europe. And, this is a very, very common thing. Yeah, we're just stuck in the loop because we don't know how to actually do it. And people who actually do it, they don't know we have great ideas sitting in our heads, So we really need to work together. So yeah, I totally get it. Thank you. I've made notes for the art of pitching and the unicorn pitching. So I'm definitely going to use that for my startup.
There's also one lesson, 20 years experience lesson that tech people like me, I used to be tech, but alhamdulillah, now I'm not a tech anymore. I'm a businessman. Don't let technical means tech of everything, tech in healthcare, tech in engineering, tech in any industry. Usually people who are industry focused, they should not lead the business. It's big no for us from experience. No. If you're a doctor, don't be the CEO of the hospital. Be a doctor. Get another CEO.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dr. Allama. I think you want to say something.
Thank you so much. Thank you, both of you. Before to go ahead with the next question, with my very little bit and modest experience, let's say health has no price, but there is a cost. And there is no joke with money. My experiences in health investment field based on multi-sectorial strategy, investors are not going to invest in idea. They are going to invest in project. There is something very sensitive with startups. Most of them, they can bring idea and they are not able to bring X% of their need of investment. Investors will not take the risk because there is too many investment opportunities around there. They have their money with them, they fund with them, they want to invest. They will have the choice between use their fund to reinforce existing project, running one who is already showing a very good growing cash flow and turnover per year. If you ask them to choose to invest their money there or to invest their money in a startup with just idea, if there is no trust, it will not be working. This is first. And second, it's more easy to present and to defend your project with evidence-based argument than defending an idea. For me, I think I told to many startups and too many other companies and universities, Bridge have two groups of entrepreneurship. There is a new mode today, like if you are not entrepreneur, you are nothing. No, not everyone is born to be entrepreneur. Not everyone is born to be employee. All is depending on your own personality. You can do entrepreneurship, but you need to have at least minimum fund from yourself. Invest your own money. If you are not investing your own money in your project, don't expect from anyone else to take the risk on your place. Have entrepreneur and have entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is, I'm calling them bank of idea. You have your idea, you want to build some things, you don't have money, you don't know how to build it. Propose your idea to your company where you are working for, and you can deal with them. In long term, if you see that your project is going well, you can bring good projects with a good revenue. Okay, save money and have your own business in your own side. But don't try to ask to people to take the risk of your idea on your place. It will not be working. It will not be working. Even for VC, even for angel investors, there is a very big risk. And also, people need money. Institutions need money. Sectors need money. We need to educate young generation and also to guide them. It's very important to guide them. I think instead to ask investors to bring more money, don't ask them to bring more money. Don't ask them to trust idea. No, just educate new generation with their idea. We have I'm one of them. We have too many idea, but their idea can help companies, can help universities, can help hospitals. They can start by entrepreneurship before to launch their idea in entrepreneurship. This is just some things what my result from just say 14 years of experiences in that field. Let's go ahead to Mr. Hany.
Yes.
Mr. Hany, okay. From a corporate strategy and digital transformation perspective, how can large organizations structure internal decision-making, governance, and incentive to move faster with innovative partnership without compromising risk management and compliance.
Why, Dr. Allama, you're asking me hard questions always? You're asking easy questions to Dr. Nupur.
Because you are high and well educated.
No, I'm just kidding.
You are
No,
confident.
no, I feel that I want to talk to her questions, but let her talk to my questions, Danny. No, I'm just kidding. See, let's agree in one thing. There is a huge difference between startups and enterprise. And unfortunately, people mix them together. We should not talk same language. We should not use same tools. We should not use same compliance, same regulation, even hiring same people, same mindset. It is completely different. So let me give you an example. If we decided to take a startup like today, let's call it the bridge. We bridge university ideas to the market. And this startup, we agreed that we gonna fund it. Let's put $10,000 and we start something. This 4 or 5 of us. That's a very good example, and that's a very simulative idea that we can apply. It is completely different from getting a large firm like Y Combinator or OpenAI sponsor us. And you know what, guys? Let's get all ideas of AI, and here is $100 million to start with. It is completely different. The startups usually, they don't know and they don't care about regulation, compliance, decision making, support, security, innovation. They don't care because they don't know. Either they don't know or they don't have the cash to comply, to learn, to innovate, to accelerate, to scale. Because if they have this money, they could have done it. If they have the knowledge, they could have also done it without money, because there is always other way. There is always a cheaper way. There is always an organic way that you do things. But for enterprises, it is also an enterprise. There is a levels. There is a corporate, there is an enterprise, and there is something we call high potential accounts, like a project that can represent a country. We call it hypo accounts. These enterprises are completely different when it comes to digital transformation. I'll give you a very high level examples. I don't want to go in depth of the digital transformation, but for example, businesses and enterprises, they use lots of data decision support systems. They take every decision based on data and based on reports and dashboards and OKRs and KPIs. But for the startups, there is only 3 of us. They have no idea what is this. And even if they have the knowledge, they cannot implement it. So putting the innovation into a startup could be much faster, but putting an innovation into a corporate or an enterprise, it can be slightly challenging. And fortunately, we started to see something called CVC, Corporate Venture Capital. The company itself, within the company, they have a venture capital, and they start learn and apply. And you know what, Dr. Allama, I think we have a challenge in the customer service. You know what, Dr. Allama, you're good in communication with clients. You take the lead, you do some innovation, and you find a solution for us. Let's apply some innovative ideas there, and let's test it. Do A/B testing. Dr. Amna can do similar in operation. She's well structured, organized, and everything is sharp. Let's do this. And we started to see an internal corporate entrepreneurs. Corporates now, I don't wanna mention names, but every large company have their own VC just to build the innovation, but that's relevant to them. And also, it is mandatory by CSR, part of the SDGs. Every company have to deliver a CSR. And when you do a CSR, why don't you deliver the CSR into the reality of relevant to your business? If you are in the healthcare business, why don't do CSR activity relevant to your industry, which is also you learn from the market and you go on ground. With all respect, there is a lot of people that they are sitting in the office and they are trying to do business. The first lesson in business, go out of the building. Go to the street. The customers are there, not in the screens. I am a digital guy, but every day I have this. I write everything. I write the art of pitching, non-tech, whatever we've spoken. I take notes, I speak. And enterprises, usually, they have a very aggressive governance and compliance, putting this into innovation that could accelerate the business growth and the business scaling. Usually, when we speak to enterprises on the digital, in my role now as a chief digital officer, usually I speak to the business, I speak to the CEOs. What's your targets? I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually, we apply innovation into 3 major main pillars of the business. Increase customer satisfaction, which is no exception. No company will say no to this. Increase profitability or maximize the profitability, and improve operation. And the last one, which is the 4th, scale out of whatever. If you're a local business, scale to global. If you are a global business, come to the local country that we are in. So usually we apply innovation here. But how we map this with the innovation, it has to be very strategically designed and delivered, because large enterprises, for example, one mistake in one campaign can affect the market share of this company badly, especially banks, large corporates like telecommunication companies. These guys are very sensitive when it comes to their availability. I remember one incident 10 years back in Vodafone, and it was publicly announced that Vodafone, their services were shut down 3 days. You don't know how much Vodafone lost money globally because of this. And if you remember, I think last year, a company called CrowdStrike. This company, the company was managing all the airports, all the big clients globally. This company had an incident of a security patch that something goes wrong with the system with Microsoft. And it affected around, I think, close to 20 or 30 million computers globally. In the same day, this company shares declined by 40%. And this is where it comes, usually the innovation, they're trying to be faster, but they didn't pay attention that we have 20 million clients are waiting. And there is a well-known internet service provider in Caribbean islands. It's in Latin America and Caribbean islands. They have 200 million users. And think about this company doing something wrong. How many people will be impacted in communication, including all the healthcare and hospitals and so on. So I think in the last incident of CrowdStrike, the airports was stopped. So you can think about how much money this company lost by delaying airports on their flights. So in summary, it has to be done very strategically, very carefully in enterprises. But that's why there is us, there is GInS, there is a global innovation institute that also governance and regulate and teach and also onboard people and how they can deliver innovation, either in a startup or in a large corporate or enterprise, or even in a government level. Because now we started seeing the sandboxes. Sandboxes are typically innovation. Because the sandbox, they bring people, what's their problems? Let's find a solution. Let's call these guys. And it's very well done in the last 5 years in the PropTech industry. Because in PropTech, you find that the industry is mapped to Ministry of Housing, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Interior, and also Central Bank. So which one should regulate? Then we should do an innovation and we should agree all together in something, and then we regulate it and we make it as a framework. That's all.
Can I just add a point to that? Actually, just got me thinking as well. Like, just to finish off, sorry, Dr. Allama, I won't take long. I think industry partnerships are really, really a key thing here as well, because, especially when it comes to different industrial sectors, if we knew who we could partner with and who can help us scale the business, I think that would make life much easier for founders and innovators, because we would know who to go to. Like, say for example, in healthcare system, if we knew standard, like, industrial partners are like M42, G42, whoever can help us take this business forward, then that would really help as well, and help with the sustainability in the end as well, because we would know, that we have a standardized industrial partner who is helping us through this journey as well. So I think that's where, especially like, I'm the founder of my own startup. I don't really know who to partner with, right? So if there was somebody who we could say, okay, the industrial partner for healthcare systems in the UAE is going to help, like through this journey of commercialization, innovation, that would significantly impact and accelerate the growth of the business as well. So I think industrial part, like back at Imperial College, we only had like the institute was commercialization industrial partnerships. So either you commercialize it directly, like Mr. Hani mentioned, or you think about industrial partnerships that can help you take your business. You don't have to reinvent the wheel if it's already there, right? You could just add the idea. That's it. So yeah, so just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Very interesting. Today, for sure, there is no thousand way to innovate. We can innovate only with collaboration. To collaborate between sectors, to collaborate between generations, to collaborate between countries, to collaborate between gender, only with collaboration. Because how we said, when you are alone, you can go far, fast, but together you can go fast and far. For me, I really, really believe only in collaboration. I cannot see any other kind or any other way to innovate without collaboration. And innovation should be let's say a full thematic in universities, in schools, education to educate young people to innovate, and to educate senior. I will not say to educate them as a young young professional. We cannot say that, okay, we will educate seniors, but the mindset of innovation we need to work on. Alhamdulillah, there is institutions like Global Innovation Institute and other institutions and other universities who are trying to do their best for that, but only by bringing people together. In my country, I was one of the first one who start to bring people together, but I can say it was not easy. It's not easy to make people agree between each other. There is a very big work and deep work to do there. Let's go to the last question. The last question. Here we will need your visionary vision, your visionary mindset for long term. In the next 10 years, for the next 10 years, both of you, what can you advise for government? What can you advise for professionals? What can you advise for innovator to make technology transfer, startup growth, and foreign direct investment sustainable? and how can we bring them like nexus to make sure that we can have a deep innovation in sustainability and climate. This is for both of you. We can start by Professor Nupur, ladies first.
Thank you. I think really to round off what we've already mentioned, thinking about sustainability is simplification in my idea, just to really simplifying things, thinking about if you're in terms of healthcare, if we're thinking about tackling a disease, for example, my lab works a lot on inflammatory diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, for example. Getting the right people on board right from the start and thinking about an idea that can actually get to the patients. As professors, we're always torn between high impact publication or really delivering something that'll get to a patient. So a high impact publication means thinking about all the most extraordinary things that are out there in science and combining them together and getting a high impact publication. Okay. But when we come to talking about what comes to the end user, what gets delivered to patients, we can't really do that. We have to think about simple solutions, and that's what's going to get to the patients. We had a professor, a very high profile professor back in University College London, who has contributed to many therapies that go into patients. And he always says that the best ones were where he thought of, one size fits all approach doesn't really work for these patients. You have to think about personalized therapies. But if you want to make personalized therapies, the future of medicine, you have to think about simple things that can be built in and integrated into the current healthcare systems. Another thing I would like to advise is when we think about collaboration models, really training the end user. So when we talk about end users in terms of healthcare system, who is our end user? Clearly defining that. Is it the clinician who is actually employing that therapy into the patient, or is the patient who's getting the therapy? So we have to really think about that and clearly define the key terms in this pipeline. So who is the end user? Who is benefiting from it? And if the end user is the patient, how do you actually train the physician to carry your idea or train the clinician to really, deliver your idea to the patient? How are the stem cells to be used? How are they to be executed? How the trainings can be done. So when we join all the dots together, everything should fit in place, right? So having the clinicians trained to the standard you want them to be trained so they can actually deliver the therapy. And then also thinking about sourcing, ethical sourcing, which we already touched upon as well, and also affordability. So really advising innovators to have we always encourage them to think outside the box, but let the box be very well defined in terms of what the budget is required, like how much money you'd need and how much like I think Mr. Hany mentioned that as well when we talk about like investment, and I think Dr. Allama, you mentioned this as well. How much money do you need to raise? We don't really know how to answer that question. I don't know that either for my startup. Like I always come back with this one comment and they're like, how much do you need? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe $1 million would do for the start. I don't know. So, those sort of things. So getting advisors on board who can help you develop business plans. Faculty are great researchers, but they're not of business mindset. So having the right people on board. So that's how collaboration models would work successfully. So I think I've covered everything, but yes, Mr. Hany, I'm sure you have things to add there as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nupur. I think the startup idea of having a bridge will be the solution, Dr. Allama, because I've seen it myself last year. Last year, 2025, in November in 2025, we have done the first prop tech conference in Egypt. Since I used to build communities myself, and I have a very good experience of building communities, digital community, prop tech community, investment and startup community, and so on. So And for me, since I travel a lot, this is how I get to know the market quickly, to be honest. If I'll go, I was just speaking to Dr. Amna, and maybe we should have also a community meetup in Lebanon. I've never been in Lebanon, but I would love to build a community in Lebanon and maybe a co-partner with Dr. Amna to do so. So the idea, the message here, the message here I want to make is putting people together will solve the problems and will come up with an innovative solutions. So what we have done, for example, in PropTech, we have a community it's called the PropTech MIA. And this community, it is made for developing and evolving the industry of PropTech because it's an early stage. The whole industry is new. It's less than 5 years old, by the way. So what we have done in this conference in Egypt, we invited regulators, ministries and central banks and FRAs, Financial Regulation Authority, and so on. So we invited industry leaders, real estate industry leaders, and we invited also technology industry leaders, and we put them together to find or discuss some of the challenges in the industry. And we came up with a white paper that was written with these are the challenges and these are the solutions that we see, and this is how we develop it, and this is how the sandbox idea started, by the way. And this is we're talking about a government level and a country level. So my point here is putting people together, government, enterprise, and innovators. And even in each startup, by the way, there is a stage is called ideation stage. So we're going to a smaller level now. Ideation stage, it is all about validating. No, not validating, because validation is a go-to-market. It's called ideation is about shaping your ideas. You know what you have, as Dr. Nupur mentioned, we have something in, let's say, behavioral analysis of the patients, or we have something into teaching early stage kids, let's say, programming. So this is just a name, but putting this, call it an idea, it requires an ideation. And ideation is putting pieces together into a shape where we call this is a startup, or this is a business, or this is an idea. But having an idea as just a name, that's not an idea, that's a name. And by the way, idea value 0 in the industry. Idea value 0. Business plan value also 0 if there is no execution on ground. Without having a transaction, without having in startups, with all respect, there is no R&D. I'm being very honest here. I'm in the industry for long. There is no R&D in early stage, except if this startup is built on a business model is called R&D. So let's do some innovation and research and build something out of it does not exist. But most probably, if we're building a startup for healthcare or in technology or PropTech, most probably it exists somewhere. It exists in China and Japan and other countries. We just want to see how these people came up with the solution and localize it. And this is also an innovation. Sometimes Control C, Control V is an innovation. So think about it. In Dubai, we have Uber, we have Careem. What Careem has made different? Careem was sold to Uber of a $1 billion investment. It is copying. I'm not saying we copy. I'm an innovation guy. I used to be an innovation director for a large investment firm, by the way, in Dubai. And we did real good practice in innovation and technology and business ideation. But when was a need for this? So to answer your question in summary, putting people together, innovate when we really need innovation. Part of the innovation is to start doing, not only keep innovation, because you can keep doing R&D forever, but people are doing other business also and making good money. That's all.
Perfect. Amazing. Amazing. Very interesting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to both of you. Then let's take action together, inshallah. And we will take action and we will keep speaking, because there are some people, they can learn from actions only, and others can learn from speech, and we will bring both together to touch as much as we can. And hand in hand, I'm sure we can do some things big, inshallah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's collaborate. Let's bring people together, and we will start by ourselves. Here is why Global Innovation Institute is here and why all our communities are here. I will give the floor to my co-leader, my sister, Dr. Amna. She will give her closing speech, and we will close the conference.
Thank you, Dr. Allama. Thank you, everyone. So, one message as we conclude: the challenge is no longer innovation itself, it's alignment. We live in a moment of extraordinary technological capability. But technology creates impact only when it's embedded in systems that can absorb it. Institutions that sustain it, markets that scale it, and policies that give it continuity. Without that, innovation moves, but it doesn't land. Startups can't scale alone. Scale requires coherence between policy and practice, capital and capability, ambition and execution. When that coherence exists, innovation becomes catalytic. Capital follows confidence. Confidence that systems will endure, governance will hold, and innovation reduces risk rather than increasing it. This is why alignment with SDGs, climate commitments, and resilient development models matters, not as aspiration, but as signal. The future will be shaped not by how fast we innovate, but by how well we align. When we do, technology transfers, startups scale, and investment follows. On behalf of the Sustainability and Climate Innovation Community, Global Innovation Summit and Global Innovation Institute, Dr. Allama and I extend our sincere appreciation to our speakers for their insights and to our audience for joining us. Thank you for being part of this meaningful conversation.
Thank you
so much, guys. Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us,
inviting
and
us.
thank you for your support and your spreading the knowledge.
Thank you to all of you. Inshallah, we will share with you shortly the record and summary of today's event.
And see you
Thank
guys
you
in
so
Riyadh,
much.
by the way. I'll be here during the conference, inshallah. And El
Inshallah.
Karaj is also next to my house. Inshallah, I'll see you there.
Inshallah, and we hope to have Dr. Nupur with us, inshallah.
I am currently on maternity leave, but I'll try and make it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
See
All
you.
the
Bye-bye.
best. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Have a
much.
good day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.